Okay, I had to watch the little timer thing. So this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and I thought this was going to be a short floss tube because I didn't think I had that many things, but the more I sat down and thought about it, the more the list just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm going to start out with the Curated Cross Stitch Collection, which is short, but I'm also going to explain some stuff about part of the title of this floss tube, which is the white dresser explosion. So, which means I've been buying a lot of stuff, and the white dresser no longer is big enough to hold what I buy. And I make jokes about that on the channel, but I'm having to do some things to address that, and we'll talk about that. So the Curated Cross Stitch Collection is not that large today. I did pick up I was in the shop last weekend, and we're going to talk about that. It was our Jeannette Douglas class. I'm going to talk about that more at the end of the video. So I got a copy of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, and then I realized I don't think I bought the Christmas edition. Oh well, if I want to buy it, I can pick it up. Okay, let's set that down on the trash can. So, all right, and then I saw a Lola Crow I didn't have. This is Cat Books and Coffee, which is perfect. I can't think of the only thing that is lacking would be cross stitch. So, it's a small. So then I had put in an order. I had gotten from Art of Design for Nashville, I'd gotten Blue Jays and persimmon, or Blue Jay and persimmons, and that was part of her Chesapeake Bay Treasures series. And so there are 6 in the series. I was able to get 3 that I saw on her website, because I didn't know like how they were numbered and what was the amount. I'm missing 1 and 5 out of the 6. So with Blue Jay and Persimmons being number 6, that was just released for Nashville last month. And so number 2 is Blue Heron. Sorry, there's a little bit of glare, but that's good. And then there is, number 3 is Island Ponies, which is sort of abstract, but I really liked it anyway. And then Tundra Swans. So that's the part of the series. I'm going to do more research and get 1 and 5 eventually, or at least I hope to. And then, so that was all that I purchased. But we had this class, and the Sallie Mary Stitchers are very generous people. When we have a class, a lot of them bring gifts for their friends, and I got some chocolates. I got some other stuff in the bag I didn't look at. I'm sorry, Nan and Kara. I will get to that. I basically had to there. One of the bags is right in here. Oh, both bags are right in here. If I can reach them. I have to hide them because the kitties love to chew on the strings, and they love to chew on these kind of bags. So, oh yeah, this is what Nan was telling me about. So there's some Easter candy in here, and then we play a game called Left, Right, Center, where it's a dice game, and I guess this is a dice and chip game. And so then we play it with floss. You can play it with money, and when we play with floss, then one person gets this giant bunch of floss. And then this was a tomato with a pin and another piece of chocolate. So glad I found those. I'm still gonna go hide them because I don't have time to parcel them out and put them away. And so Tammy brought me two things, one of which I knew she was going to do, and the other was a surprise. The surprise was this telescoping magnetic wand that you can telescope and pick needles up from the floor. Yay! I've wanted one of these. I also kind of would like one with a light, because usually I can spot them if I have a flashlight. And now that cell phones have flashlights, that's kind of easier than in the past. And then Tammy also had said that she was going to let me have the Block Party Meow from Hands On Design. And so she had finished this, and I put in the mentions her video where she shows this is a fully finish. That's her Flosstube number 63, Woodland Stitching Studio. So I thought I was going to pick out a fabric for this. I haven't yet. So in the future. And I love it. The kitties. So, all right. And so because I had gotten the larger version of Autumn Blackbirds, which is like about twice as big as this. It has this motif on one side, and then it has another blackbird with other motifs in the autumn. I think I would like to give this away. And so if you put in the comments, season, SEASON, in a sentence, and I'm not going to get to this till after I come back from the beach trip at the end of April, so it'll be another 2 floss tubes before or this floss tube and one other floss tube before I announce who won. So you have a little bit of time. All right, so let me see. Yes, so let me look at my list, make sure I'm doing it in order here. I have a method to my madness. And so the white dresser explosion. Okay, the white dresser is overflowing. I had to put some Mirabilia patterns I'd ordered in a cupboard, and I have basically taken my last empty project bag, and I've stuffed it full of about 4 or 5 pieces of fabric with that many patterns. And so there are a couple things that I'm doing to try and keep up with all this stuff I've bought. And so, you know, I had, as a challenge to myself, I had come up with an idea that during the Fabric of the Month Club, which I received today, the April selection, I think it's Oshun or Oshun, and this is a beautiful piece of turquoise fabric with a fairly light model, and so you can see it there. It's gorgeous. And so 36 count linen. And so when I got this, I was like, I'm not sure what I want to put with this, because and then I thought of a couple things that I thought I was going to use on some other fabric. And so I had matched, I'm getting it out here, I had matched Artsy Housewife Beach Rat. I had matched this in my spreadsheets to Atomic Ranch Ocean Sand, which is a 20 count Aida. And, you know, I thought it would be great. It would be great. But I think that this is going to be gorgeous too. And I have two choices for the Atomic Ranch that I can match to. One of which is I have at least 2 Biscornu that are marine theme. One is Tiny Modernist, and it's like Octopus Biscornu, and the other one is it's like crabby, being crabby or feeling crabby. It's got little crabs on it. I don't remember who designed that. And in the editing, maybe I can look it up. I looked up a ton of stuff and I realized, oh dear, that it's now after 6 and my husband comes home from his late shift, and I like to have this all filmed and put away before he gets home, because the last episode, if you watched my last Flosstube, you heard a crack noise, and that was him when he came home. He was cracking open a plastic container to get the food inside, and it was just like, and I think I turned and I said, "Good, like, be quiet." It's like, come on. I have very limited times to do this, and I was almost done, and I wanted to finish. So anyway, so I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to go through a ton of stuff as fast as I can, and you know I can talk. So, all right. So this Ocean Sand, I was thinking about doing those 2 different marine animal Biscornus. And I'm also, did I leave it out? Yes, I did. I also thought, oh, Lindy Stitch's Beachcomber and this. So I haven't decided. As much as I appreciate sand with ocean themes, sand colors, I like this, and it's got some sandy patches in it and some water patches in it. So I think it would bring out some of the colors in this. So yeah, definitely some of the back stitching on that scallop at the bottom. So I did change it on my spreadsheets, but I'm kind of still a little bit on the fence. So I'm going to just pull stuff out of, I've shown you my monthly Fabric of the Month pairing challenge, which Ocean with Beach Rat by the Artsy Housewife. And I'm not going to start this right away. This is a good size pattern, and I'm gonna start a smaller thing, I think, sooner. I've already started 2 things in 2 weeks, and that is, of all the steps to deal with the white dresser. I mean, for months my friends have said, oh, just buy another dresser. I'm like, no, we don't have room in our house for more furniture, and the furniture I have is stuffed full of stuff that is not cross stitch. And you know, I have some space in these cupboards down here, but I wanted to leave some space because I've got some collectibles that I've thought about selling on eBay, and I kind of would like to figure out how and what I'm going to do with some of this stuff that's below the counter that you see here. But like you see, right? I never know which way to point. There, I can't, that down there. So yeah, so, you know, and I thought, I could just like take stuff out of the file cabinet and then file patterns. There's a lot of stuff that should go in the file cabinet before patterns. So anyway, so Nashville 2023, I got another art of design. This is Flamingos, and I got a bunch of limited edition flosses that I thought would be really good substitute. This is all DMC. Nothing wrong with DMC. I like doing a lot of DMC stuff because it's always available. You don't have to necessarily go to your LNS to find it. although our LNS usually has a good supply, whereas if you go to Michael's or formerly Joann's, that is no longer, you might not find it. And so anyway, so I picked these up thinking I'm going to stitch with those, like the two different orange colors in the pumpkins and some of the other motifs. I can do this one with this coral color. And then this other floss is like a sort of a wine color, so I thought that would go for some of the purples. And then the greens is DMC, and I'm gonna do a floss. I'm basically gonna do a floss toss and figure out, am I gonna use grasshopper? Am I gonna use some other kind of like green grass? I have some like really bright green specialty threads, and I also have all the DMCs. So haven't decided what I'm gonna do, but I will do a floss toss. And so this was stitched on Lavender Diamonds Purple Wexford Linen by Silk Weaver Fabrics. And then they used a rayon metallic 2-ply floss along with DMC. And the metallic floss was used in the legs of the flamingo. And so this it's hard to see, but you can kind of see some purple modeling right there. So I went in my stash and found from 2024 Nashville release, Lap and Loops Medusa's Gaze. And there's a funny little story I may have told months ago about this, getting this. So my friend Tammy, she's off on Fridays. So a lot of times she goes to the shop on Fridays. And I work on Fridays, so I go to Acorns and Threads on Saturdays. And although I did go before book club on a Tuesday one time, and that was sort of stressful, like making sure I get there before they close at 4, which I did. But I'm not sure I want to repeat that very often. But I had to get some flosses so I could start something on time. And so Medusa's Gaze, Lap and Loops, and it's 32 count linen. And Willow, she is wanting to nibble on the jade plant. Hey, no, Willow. And she's sniffing at the euphorbia, which the euphorbia she can't hurt. The jade plant she kind of can. So she's gotten into the habit to be mischievous in this area. I may have to, hey, good girl. So she does know what no means, unlike her son, who does not know what the word no means. So Medusa's Gaze, you can see it's a sort of a light purple dye with darker purple modeling. And I knew I loved it, and I knew I'd find something to stitch with. I didn't have something I was going to stitch this on. And I have a big, huge chunk. And this piece, I've done some math, and it's going to be, it's going to need, if I have a 2-inch border, it's going to need a 7x9 piece of fabric, which I have 27 by 36 inches here, plenty of fabric. And originally I thought I was going to stitch this actually on a light orange fabric, but then I was like, wait a minute, this stuff won't show up as well as I want it to, so maybe I should rethink that. And I stored this together with that orange fabric. So as the white dresser has been exploding, I've been like, okay, where is the pattern? Where's the fabric? Put them together. So now I have this project bag of pairs, which I have 3 project bags of pairs and flosses. So, this is a bag that, I do not know where, oh, this was the fabric. So, like picking stuff up going, where'd it go? So, yeah, this is the fabric, and I do want to keep this in the bag for now. I think I'm going to start this pretty soon because it's a small. And so one of the things I'm doing to try and combat the white dresser problem is I'm going to be doing smalls and finishing them. And I figure I need to finish at least one thing a month, which is really unusual for me. But I do have a few small things. So I got one last thing to show that's shoved in that I basically was. So when I thought about the turquoise fabric, I thought, you know, there is a little bit of turquoise in here, but I could also do this on the turquoise fabric. So I could do two of these on that Mystic piece. So I thought about it, and I decided I liked the beach red idea better. And so then I was like, well, okay, but you need a fabric. So I decided we're going to do Crystal Dwarf on this, and it's really bright, intense. This is from Tiny Modernist, and so I have done some of the Valentine terrarium. I kind of wanted to do all the terrariums on one piece of fabric, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, especially since the colors are different, the color schemes are different. So, so this goes with this now, and you know, this is something I could start, and it's actually fairly stitch heavy. And it is 64 by 95, so it's not that small. All right, so I'm gonna shove all these back in the project box, oops, without the plastic bags all slipping and falling on the floor. Okay, there. So, all right. Okay, so yeah, I was going to tell a story about the Medusa Gaze. So back at Nashville 2024, Tammy went to Nashville Days, which are 2 weekends in a row, or 2 weeks in a row, and it's basically starts on a Friday, and if you have the Acorns and Threads coupon book, you can get in at 9 instead of at 10. And so this year I actually went on Friday, and I got there at 9:15, and it was a madhouse, and there was so many people there, and things that I was looking for were already being like, they were gone, okay, because people had got there at 9 instead of 9:15. So but anyway, I think Tammy, you know, like I say, she doesn't work on Friday, so she goes on Friday. I don't work on Saturday, so I go on Saturday. You know, I have my coupon book, but during special events, the coupon book is not allowed. And they give you, if you've pre-ordered, you get a discount on the stuff you pre-order. So it's worth it to pre-order. So last year, she went on Friday, and she got some Medusa's Gaze. You know, she knew what she was going to use it for, so she got a chunk of what she needed. And sorry, I don't have my water. I'm going to grab a drink. So I got there on Saturday. I didn't see the Medusa's Gaze because maybe it had not made it back from the cutting table behind the register back to the fabrics that were available. I did buy some fabrics last year. So then, you know, Thursday rolls around, and, you know, this, which was maybe after the second week of the Nashville Days were over, because it's 2 weekends in a row. And so Thursday comes around, we're stitching, I'm sitting next to her. I'm like, oh, that's really gorgeous fabric. And she's like, yeah, I got this at Nashville Days. I'm like, wow. So I went back to the store on that Saturday, and they still had that big hunk of fabric, so I bought it and was like, okay, I'm going to use this for I don't know what, but I'm going to use it. So it's been sitting in the white dresser for quite some time without being paired to any particular thing. So that's how the coupon books work with respect to Nashville Days. They have monthly, and this was March. I didn't actually use March because when I was there for Nashville Days buying fabric, the coupons don't work, and I didn't get a chance to go back. April has a mystery where you draw a poker chip out of a bag, and then you get whatever between 20 and 40% off. One of my friends drew her chip while I was standing next to her at the register, and she got 35% off. I might have got 30% off, but usually I end up with a 20% ship, which is still better than nothing. So I am not going to the shop until the weekend after this weekend that's coming up. So the third weekend. So let's see. I don't want to lose this. I got to put it back in my purse. Maybe I'll put it right there for now. I've got so much stuff, and it's like I don't know where to put it. So I've talked about fabric of the month pairing. I've talked about I'm out of project bags, so I'm also pairing and starting things, and I'm trying to finish small things and trying to think about what I can finish. I mean, I basically have my spreadsheet of whips, and I put a due date for most of them over here. Like, for example, oops, I better not show that close up. I'm gonna don't want to bend this, but okay, so yeah. So this date right here, July 27th, that is the latest date that I can get something done so it'll be finished in time for PNWSS. So that's my PNWSS small, which I am focusing on working on this month because it's so darn cute and it's so much fun to stitch. It is something that I will be using up some of the fabric, but I will be keeping the chart so I can stitch it again for myself. Some other things are as soon as possible, like I should have two. Oh, I have it. Okay, so this is Purple Pansy Angel, which should also be highlighted in blue. I'm trying to use color coding to draw my eye to things. This is the Totoro at the bus stop piece that I need to finish. Or no, maybe this one is. It needs to be finished by the end of August. Oh, this one is the wedding gift that's fingertip towels. So anyway, so I have now a spreadsheet of my whips, which I flashed it quick so maybe you didn't see the one that I'm not sharing what the name is. I'm going to show you a whip, but I'm not gonna, and it is a Nashville 25 release, but I'm not gonna share the designer and the name yet. So yeah, so I'm thinking like what's small that I can finish and then take things off my whip list. And lo and behold, because we're talking about whips, this morning before lunch, I get this email, or no, I get this text message from one of my friends, and she's like, I'm seeing this on Craigslist for $20, not the book, okay, but the finished pattern, the finished piece, framed. And so I'm like, well, Lisa, if you want to wait until 2027, which I'm thinking that's the fastest I could do it, I said, I already started this piece, and it's probably 35 to 40% done. Okay, I can finish this and give it to you as a present. And so what happened today is we went back and forth on text messages about, you know, whether she should buy it or not, and, you know, how soon I could finish it, and oh, something maybe should go in a different spot. So anyway, so this was something that I started as a gift for somebody 25 years ago, and I fell out of, I moved away from the city where we were both living, and fell away from this friendship. Unfortunately, I missed this couple, and so I didn't finish it. I worked on it for several years, and then we sort of lost touch, and so I still have it. And now I have a new friend that loves it, and so she did end up buying that today, and we were talking about why something like that would end up on Craigslist. And sorry, I'm gonna block the cat's window seat for a minute. And so she purchased it. I am gonna finish it, and then I'm gonna give her the finished piece that I create. And then she knows other people who like fantasy things, so she's going to probably give them the Craigslist piece. And all right, now I need to put this somewhere. Something I drug out of the project box there. So anyway, all right. So I've finished all the things that I'm doing, trying to finish stuff quicker. Do some smalls that I can like finish and get rid of, or at least get rid of the bit of fabric, and meet my goals for smalls exchange. So you saw in my last video the finished grape piece, and so today I ordered. I went to Art to Frames, which is a company based in Brooklyn, New York. Helen D recommends them, and so their website is going to be in my descriptions if I hold the grape right side up. So I did order a frame. It's going to be a wooden frame that has sort of a reddish brown, I'm hoping, in terms of the stain and the underlying wood. I didn't want to get it too red, but I wanted to get it a little bit red and a little bit brown, so it would bring out those colors from this piece. And so the shipping department from this company assures me I'm going to get it by April 15th. And Tammy, who finishes, agreed to finish this for me, even though she's not doing that professionally anymore. She says if she gets the stuff by the 19th, she can finish it in time for the Cannon Beach trip, Acorns and Threads beach trip, which I'm going to, and hopefully I'm bringing this as a finish, and whoever, I'm going to have a raffle for this, and you don't have to be present to win. You just need to contact me and say, put my name in the raffle and give me, your phone number or your email so I could contact you. And so I'm going to give you the pattern, and I'm going to give you the finished project, hopefully in a frame. And I haven't figured out about the flosses. The flosses are older DMC, so they're slightly different colors. But if you wanted to do this one and have it sort of match this one, I'm thinking I'm going to give the floss. I know Tammy wants her floss drops back, so I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to, maybe I'll get floss bags and label them with the flosses, because she's de-stashed and she had like bins of loose floss, and I think she's kind of done something with those. I'm not sure she's kept everything. So I need to talk to her about you know, clarify, because we've talked about, okay, Tammy, what do you want back from me from this that you gave me to finish? And so I still have a couple questions. So, all right, so that's where things are with that. You know, if you're interested in that piece, email me at GEN Stitch R, the letter R, at gmail.com, which is my Flosstube email. And give me some contact information, and then I will put your name in the drawing. So anyway, all right. Let me see. I talked about. I'm trying to see where I put that on my list. I guess I want to talk about it. Okay, I've talked about it. I didn't have it on my list. So whips. Let's see some cross stitch. All right, so make sure I've got, okay, March. So I had 3 starts in March. I had 1 finish, the grapes. I stitched for 22 days, which is really good for me. I had 10 social days, and I was able to film on 3/11 and 3/27, and so it really feels like I just had a Flosstube. But when I look at the calendar, I'm like, yeah, but this is the 2nd week of the month, so I should be filming. All right. And then what did I stitch on? And I actually wrote that out on my list. And oh, something is clear across the room. So what I'm going to do, this is, I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to restart with the whips. It's better if I shoot shorter videos, because then I can get them off my phone quicker. So I will be grabbing a piece from across the room and get right back. Okay, if I can figure out where to stop. All right. Okay, so I've talked about this piece before, A Gathering of Acorns, which is market release for 25. This was an exclusive for the Gathering of Nuts from Fox and Rabbit at the 2024 Acorns and Threads mini retreat. So this is up in the attic. It's a piece of Ada. I forget how big it is. But anyway, you can see I've been, working on the house when it's not upside down. And I haven't got the windows in yet, but I've been working on those because they're easy to do when I'm watching TV. And so I am working on the window that's above here. I miscounted in terms of the number of red siding of the house. So this window that's above the door is going to be a little bit narrower. It's still symmetrical, and I will just make sure to add an extra stitch in the red over on this side. So it'll look a little different, but it won't be like glaringly obvious I screwed up. So, and I know Flosstubers are too honest about our screw ups, but you know, I'd rather be too honest than not. And you know, one thing that came out and we laughed about a lot this weekend with Jeannette Douglas and the people at Acorns and Threads was there are no stitch police, okay? There aren't rules. And there are consequences for doing things certain ways, but there aren't rules and there aren't stitch police, and we aren't going to shame someone for making a mistake, okay? So anyway, this is what I had to pick up from the other side of the room. Trying to stack it so it doesn't fall. All right, I did work a little bit on Emmeline Purnell, and that is something I wanted to, drop my floss drop. Okay, as long as the cats are, I think Max is trying to sleep over there, so he's the one that would come and start batting it around. So I did talk to Janine about Emmeline Purnell because I didn't know how long this was going to be exclusive to Acorns and Threads, but it will be exclusive to Acorns and Thread in perpetuity. I can't talk. I'm tired. Forever, as long as Acorns and Threads is a business. So Emmeline Purnell from Hands Across the Sea, and I have been working on the border. A lot of my pieces, if it's not something where I know that I have to start in the middle because, like the tea towels, it's an amorphous flower. I have to start that in the middle. I try to start in the bottom left. That's my habit. So I started in the bottom left, and I actually went this way and did a flower or two, and then I was like, no, I really wanted to go up. So I switched directions and started going up. So so that's the pattern, and I'm doing it on 36 count atypical, which is, I think, one of my favorite Mystic fabrics of all time. It has wonderful rose and yellowish splotches, and so anyway, so this is at the I did this in a certain way because I knew how big Emmeline Purnell was, and I did this in a certain way so that I can use this other part of the fabric when I get done. So, because, you know, I got plans. So here is the left corner, and you can see I did one rose headed along the border to the right, and I've done two red roses going up with the little silver roses and the leaves. And I've been trying to do a leaf or a set of flowers each week. And last week I was in a class for 2 full days, and so this did not get worked on. And you know, I wish I had time, but I didn't. And I chose to work on smalls that I have deadlines on. You know, this is for me. And one of my friends was teasing me in our in-person stitch group a couple weeks ago about, Robin, don't you want a dopamine wall? And I guess it's the theory that you put stuff on the wall that gives you a dopamine rush. And it's like, well, but I have things on my wall that give me a dopamine rush. They're just things I haven't done. They're things that my loved ones have done. And seeing their work on the wall makes me happy because I remember the happy times with them when I was a kid, and lots of fond memories, and also looking at their work and being inspired to do my own work. So, okay, so that's Emmeline Purnell. Not much there. I think I did a leaf the last time I worked on it. So, all right. So next whip, look at my planner. Did I work on that? No, I didn't work on that. Okay. I was gonna say fish and chips. I haven't worked on it. So I'd like to, but I didn't get there. Okay. And then this is a Christmas gift for my great niece. And it's also matched to a Mystic fabric that I got in February. And fabric of the month. And so I finished half of the border, and I had finished the 4 and realized I made a big error with where I had placed some of the threads, so there was a gap in it, and so I frogged almost all of the 4 and I restitched it, and then this is going to be 49 cents, and so I'm about a third done with the 9. And again, I would have liked to have finished the 49 last week, but it didn't happen. So I will get more done on it over the next few weeks. Oh, and that is, again, Unmellow Yellow for Mystic, 36 count linen. All right, so I got 2 more whips, one of which I'm going to talk about with the Jeannette Douglas class because it's what I did while I was in class, which doesn't look like much because I realized there were 2 flower petals that I put in the wrong spot, and so I had to frog it. It's a good thing I like frogs. So I am not showing the pattern for this. This is Vintage Blue Whisper. It's a linen. I think it might be 32 or 36. I can't remember. I thought I had the little tag for it. That must be in a project bag somewhere. But anyway, so this tiny little small, I finished the border last weekend, and I even showed it to Jeannette Douglas because the borders were a very important piece of what she was teaching us, and I said, my borders be correct, which was one of our catchphrases from this class. And so, and then we had learned, she learned this too, because one of the people in the class taught us a trick for finishing or starting your threads without having to like do what I do, which is put them in the ditch, you know, like put them underneath threads. Or when I'm starting, basically make sure that the loose thread kind of lays in a line, and then you stitch over it and make sure that it forms its own ditch. So, and I did, okay, so this is the thing. I am self-taught with cross stitch, and there's a ton of stuff that I don't know, that I have never done or don't know how to do, don't even know that it exists. And since Flosstube, and when I started watching in 2022, it's just been a revelation, and the leaps and bounds that I've grown as a stitcher, and then as somebody in the stitching community, where people even come to me with questions now, and it's like, you know, it's like, this is, you know, that class made me really, you know, realize and, you know, sit with a bit, but also, and not be ashamed of this, but just realize like, oh my gosh, you know, I was pretty ignorant. And I think my mom, who cross-stitched, was probably the same way, because when she was cross-stitching in the 90s and early aughts, she did kits. I can't imagine her taking a piece of linen and taking a pattern and putting the two together like this. I just don't think she did that very much, if any. Maybe I've seen a whip or two of hers that she destashed to me. Maybe once or twice she might have done that, but most of the stuff that she gave me and that I've seen finished were kits. So anyway, so yeah, so learning that start trick would have really changed how my back looked on these borders. And I was so happy with this border that it turned out, because this, I don't want to make this too, this side does not line up with this side, and that's intentional. And so when I was doing this, I was like, they're not lining up. You know, am I okay? And I'm looking at my pattern going, oh, the pattern doesn't line up either. Okay. And just keep stitching, just keep stitching. You know, I'm going to mention just keep stitching too. I should have already, but, because yeah, I'll do that at the end of the video. And I hope you're screaming at the screen loud enough for me to hear, because I may forget. But anyway, I got to the top, and I got to this corner, and I was like, oh my gosh, it fit, it's on the same line. I did it right. And then I'd gotten over a little bit more than half on this border. And so then when I rounded this corner here and matched the two up, I was like, whew. So anyway, and I am using variegated threads, which are fun, and I'm not doing one cross stitch at a time all the time, but I'm doing like maybe 2 cross stitches at a time. So that's why you could see some really strong variegation in there. And then this top darker line is a DMC, which makes me wonder if that DMC bobbin I have is from real, it's very dark, looks darker than what it looks like on the pattern. So I'm wondering if the DMC that I have is like an older color from, you know, back when I got all my DMC back in, you know, 2000 or whatever, you know, before some of the color changes. So let me fold this up now. Oh, and this fabric is Vintage Blue Mist. It's Belfast or Edinburgh. It's the stuff I did, the 12 Christmas cat things that I did for the Stitchers in North Carolina, which was a blue flower pattern, the 12 Cats of Christmas. So I'm using the same fabric because I had a bit left. And so this is my sneak peek of my Pin Was Small. Somebody's gonna get it, and I mean, I'm almost wanting to steal it myself because it's gonna be, it's gonna take a lot of finishing that I'm gonna have to find a friend or pay somebody to do because it's not stuff that I want to do. But Paisley and Polka Dot, that online shop, they do the finishing piece that you put this on. That's another hint. And this pattern is one of, gosh, let's see, well, that's 12 right there. Yeah, so it's a collaboration by 12 designers, one for each month, and they have different things. Ooh, I may have to get the one for my birthday month. I haven't really looked at all the different patterns for each of the months. I just thought this one was just so funny and whimsical, and I was like, I want that. I want to be that character in this cross stitch pattern, you know. So anyway, it was something I saw and I was like, you know, you just have to have it and you have to stitch it. And I was really happy. It was like, okay, stitch it now. I'll do it as my small, and then I'll have the pattern. I could probably do it on the same, I have more than enough to do it on the same material, if I want to do it on the same material. Or I could do it on a different material. So I did not have the recommended material, but what I'm stitching it on is not too far off of the recommended fabric. Okay, Jeannette Douglas. And oh boy, I mean, she is the sweetest person on the planet. I mean, this was just like, this was like going to one of your favorite places in Portland, your local needle shop, and sitting in a room with most of the people you've met before, some people you haven't met before because they're from other states. We had people from New Mexico and Minnesota, and and of course Washington and Oregon. Not sure if there were any Californians in the room, but there could have been. Okay, and people you know from Zoom, people you don't know, and you just sit and chat and have fun and socialize and mess up your cross stitch pattern and then have to frog it. That's me. That's me in a class. I mean, I learned a ton of stuff. I mean, I came home on Saturday, and I was like, I'm so tired. And, but anyway, let me see all the stuff I can dig out here. And so what she has done is she has this B series, B-E, the word B. And so this is the fourth one in that series, and it is part of her class. And so this is not on the market yet. It's part of the class if you go to her class. And so get the list, because I've never been to any of her classes, and I wanted to go to this one. And she's kind of taken a break from traveling for this year, I think, or the rest of the year. I'm not sure what the timing is on that. I know she's not doing her cross stitch cruises. She's taking a break from that. And, you know, and there's things she's doing with her business. So it's not like she's taking a break. She's concentrating on other things. And so the B series, Joy Be Thine, Needle Be True, Stitches Be Sweet, and number 4, Count Be Correct. And that's why I was saying, my border be corrected, the count be correct. And so this is a sampler, and this border is intense. And one of the things she showed us in the class, and I'm not going to show you because it's copyrighted material, but she showed us this is like a lot, mostly cross stitch. There are some specialty stitches like satin stitches, and here and here there's satin stitches, and then she does these so right there, yeah, pinwheels. Okay, she's done pinwheels before. It's like something she has done in some early yeah, hi Willow, some early work she did, some early designs, because we were looking at some of the early stuff and laughing about, oh my gosh, she's been doing, she was laughing at herself going, wow, I've done this like forever. So I'm trying to pop out this pattern and find, oh yes, here. So besides getting a sampler, you get smalls. And so with my commitment for doing smalls is that I can't start a BAP, a big ass project. I can't do it right now. I gotta get little stuff out of the dresser, or gotta work on some, and I gotta work on some of the big stuff, okay? I gotta work on the Purple Pansy Angel and the My Neighbor Totoro piece, because those are big. Uh-oh, Max found the floss drop. Okay, sweetie, I don't think you can pick that up. I think it's too heavy. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Oops. You get that plastic too. Where did I put? Oh, I guess I can't put that away right this second. I'll put it not on the floor so he won't get it. So anyway, I decided that I would start. Oh, and of course, this is a kit. They gave us all the silks for the sampler, and gave us hints about how to start, how to work with the flosses. And they gave us 2 pieces of fabric. There was this sampler is done on a little bit more of a golden neutral, and there was a choice for a golden piece of fabric. It was 40 count, and that's impossible for me to do without my 10X lit lamp. So I got this is a gray, well, it's kind of a gray tan. So there is a little bit of yellow in here too, but it's darker, but it's 36 count. So I could do this without, and this is where I started with my scissor fob. And actually, am I looking all right? Yeah, this is what I did with the scissor fob, which is the center of the scissor fob. It's very small piece. And we got all of the stuff to finish the smalls, the scissor fob. There is let me get that other piece. Oops. I don't want to spread it out too much. The cats are prowling and I don't want them to prowl around. And so anyway, there was a little pillow pincushion. There was a needle. This isn't a needle book. It was more like a needle pad. I know she had a name for it, but I think a needle pad also works. And then this was the scissor fob with this drawstring scissor fob, which she's done that before in other classes and I hadn't seen it. I liked it. And so that's what I decided to do. And we got, like I say, we got all the stuff for finishing all three. And we got the stuff for finishing all three, and we got instructions on how to finish it. So I have never done a finishing of a small. I've never done a finishing of anything, although I did take the Blue Flowers muffin class at Jingle Ball, and I feel confident about some of the finishing steps. Not all of them, but some of them I'm sure with the back stitching and stitching things together, I'm sure I can do that. I'm not so sure I can do the what is that stuff you put on the well, if I was to look through this, the material that you put in the interface stuff. Yeah, so like the interfacing stuff. I'm not so confident about that because I don't have a sewing machine, and I think I would kind of want some friends to maybe, okay, will you please sew this for me, and then I'll do like the hand stitching. I can do the hand stitching. So anyway, so this is count be correct. And one thing I will share, let me put that on this side. The statement is, blessed be the borders that meet. Okay, that resonated. That's all I'll say. And Jeannette said, I didn't mean to be so timely when I designed this. So, but like I say, it was just a wonderful event. Like at 3:30 when we're supposed to be breaking up and going home, we're still sitting all around laughing, and well, maybe it wasn't 3:30, maybe it was more like 3:15. We're all laughing and joking and stitching, or maybe I actually got really tired and I was like, okay, and I had to frog that, and I was like, okay, I frogged it, I'm packing everything up. So I packed everything up, at 3, and I have a bare space, and people are, Robin, are you going? And I'm like, no, I'm just tired. So anyway, and so I want to do the sampler in the called for silks, and I will, but I decided that if I'm going to do the scissor fob, I'm going to do some more whoops, I'm going to do the scissor fob not in the reds that are on here, the pink. I'm going to do it more in one of my signature colors. As you see, I'm wearing it. And then this is Carmine Rose, and these are Gloriana silks that were used in the kit. And so these are also Gloriana silks. And I think one of, like, the person who is kind of retiring from Gloriana Silks, but I think her kids are taking over. She was there stitching with us. So lovely, lovely lady. I hadn't met her before. And, you know, really looking forward to retiring. And so anyway, so this is by Seraphim Fabrics. The yellowy one is called Old Stationery. I don't recall what the name of this one was. I will find out later, but not probably before I publish this video. So anyway, the other thing about Jeannette Douglas is that, you know, she did her My Stitching album book that came out, and it was a Nashville release. It was $92. I know some stores had it for $86 or $88 instead, but it was $92 where I'd seen it advertised. And so at the time, you know, with the amount I spent on Nashville, and I caught it. I just want to get it all in the bag and zip it up so the cats won't do anything. This is one last thing. Excuse me. One last thing to talk about. But I want to finish about Jeannette Douglas. So when that book came out, one or two people from Sailing Mary Stitchers said, Robin, are you interested in doing a sal on this? And I'm like, well, yes, I am. But I have not purchased this, so I'm going to wait until it gets reprinted in several months. And then, hey, buddy, Max is right down there. You okay? Okay. He's going to jump up here in a minute and want some brushes. So anyway, so Sailing Mary Stitchers may be doing a sal for the stitching book. I don't know if I can persuade people to delay the start of the sal, but I want, I'm not the only one who didn't buy the stitching album at this point. So two less things. So Just Keep Stitching, they announced on their Flosstube this weekend that they are doing a spirit wear where they are selling t-shirts and sweatshirts and like a water tumbler thing and another thing I can't remember. So anyway, there are 4 items, and they have a link to the vendor on that on their Flosstube, and that is Flosstube. Okay, where is it? Oh, it's on the other little piece of scratch paper I was making notes on. Is it? Oh, no. Oh, you know what? I put it on my description. I think it's Flosstube 379. And I know, yeah, I typed it in, I didn't write it on my paper. And then if you want to see the Meow Block Party, Tammy Woodland Stitching Studio number 63 is where she shows the fully finished block party, which is the pattern she gave to me, because I saw it and I was like, I want to do that. I have to stitch that. And so she stitches things once and then she's done, and so she, you know, puts the patterns on free tables, or she destashes it on Facebook, or whatever she does with them. And in this case, there's a couple patterns that that I've said, oh, when you're done with that, I want it, please. And so I got this one, and I know that there's one that she's months or years away from finishing, which is fine because it's years away from me starting. So, trying to think of the last thing I wanted to mention is the Acorns and Threads Cannon Beach beach trip, and that's at the end of April. And so I hope I can get my second floss tube for the month out. That's kind of coming up on them. And so I am definitely going to be taking, and I can pop up on the screen, the pattern book for the state borders. I have a couple tea towels, one of which I started, and I was like white on wet white, and it just was not looking like it was not popping. So I was using Blanc, DMC Blanc, and I think I'm gonna have to use DMC 250, B5200, or possibly this particular flower in some of the patterns. Well, in this borders pattern is like a super light pink. That almost looks orange in this light, but it's kind of like a baby coral baby pink, you know. And some of them make them more intense. This is a baby, like a baby pink. And so, you know, I looked at the photo of the actual flowers, then I looked at like some of the colors in the flower, which these are white flowers, and I think they're white flowers in nature, and the pinks are varieties that have been bred after white people discovered this flower. So I'm not sure though. You need to do some more research. But anyway, this is a state flower of Pennsylvania, and it's several states on the eastern seaboard. So so I wanted to make it authentic, but if the white is not showing up really good, then I'm gonna have to do something creative to make it come out just a little bit more, you know. So, and then the other flower on the other towel will be the Oregon grape, which I've stitched a bunch of times. So this state, oh, that's the back of the pattern book. So this state flower border pattern with the towels is going with me to Cannon Beach. Some people are starting to ask, what are you taking? I'm like, I'm taking that because I want to get that gift done, because that'll be a finish for May, if not sooner. And then, of course, because the kitties are not going to the beach, I'm going to be taking the pattern that I'm just getting to I hate to say this, I'm getting just like not bored, just kind of frustrated with the Purple Pansy Angel, because it's just so much. And, you know, and that's because it's from 1995, and the fractal stitches and the blended threads, and then all the back stitching to hide the fractal stitches, which to me makes no sense whatsoever. But it's what was done back in the day. And then, of course, the pattern that looks like it was mimeographed and is so hard to read. And I said that to an older person, and I sneeze. Sorry. I said that to someone my age or older, and they were like, it probably was mimeographed. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make me feel better. But anyway, those two things for sure I am bringing to Cannon Beach. Because hopefully I will get my Pinwheel Small done this month, and it can be my April finish. Then the towels can be my May finish. So those towels came straight out of the white dresser, and I can get those towels done. I can put the state flower border pattern book back in the white dresser. But then that means this project bag will be empty. Purple Pansy Angel is still going to take me months to get done. So that's not going to shift anything in terms of space. But, and then the pin was small. That'll free up a project bag. And then the smaller amount of the vintage blue mist will be back in the white dresser. And it's, you know, it's like decreasing as I do different things on it. So that's how I'm dealing with the white dresser explosion, you know, because I got what I got in terms of space, and, you know, I can't buy a new house. And I mean, because somebody at the class, I was kind of, you know, bemoaning my white dresser issue with a new friend and she's like, oh, well, I just bought a bigger house. I went through several stages with my crafting, and I just bought a bigger house each time. And I'm like, oh, well, this is my forever home in a retirement community, and I plan on dying in this home. So, you know, financially, we couldn't do that. It's not, you know, if we have to get rid of this house, it'll be from something bad financially, not from something good financially. So, because it's a beautiful house, and it's a single level, so I don't have to worry about my knees or incipient vertigo. So anyway, so that's a lot, and yeah, 2 videos of about 39 minutes each. That's a lot. Thank you so much for spending the time. And I have talked about everything I had on this list to talk about. So I will be in the shop on the 3rd Saturday of the month, probably closer to noon instead of at 10. I'm going to try to start doing Tai Chi on Saturday mornings. So that cuts into my stitching time, but I think overall the benefits will be worth it. So, so keep stitching, keep safe, stay frosty. If you know, you know. So, can't think of anything else. I've covered it all. The kitties are great, and now they're going to want some attention because I've worked and then I had an appointment to go to. So the only reason they haven't been jumping up and photobombing is because now my table's clear and they don't know it yet. So anyway, got to put all this stuff away. Hopefully I can get this edited and put online sometime this week. So thank you, and we'll talk in 2 weeks.